What if everything you know about early human history is incomplete? Not wrong, just missing something. Because 4,500 years ago, before the rise of the great civilizations we study today, there traces quiet, scattered clues that suggest something existed before them. Something organized, something advanced enough to leave behind patterns we still don't fully understand. And then it vanished, not slowly, but suddenly. Ancient cultures across the world describe the same event. Massive waters, entire lands swallowed, survivors starting again from nothing. But here's the real question no one asks. What exactly was lost when the waters came? Because if these stories are based on real events, then somewhere beneath today's oceans, there may still be evidence of a forgotten world, and we haven't fully seen it yet. Imagine a man standing on the edge of a river plain. Let's call him Enkidu, not the myth, but someone like him, a builder, a farmer, a man who understands the rhythm of water and soil. His village sits near a fertile river where crops grow easily and trade routes quietly expand. Life feels stable, predictable, but over time, something changes. The river doesn't behave the same way anymore. The seasons shift. Water rises higher than expected and stays longer than it should. At first, it's manageable. Then it isn't, because what Enkidu doesn't know is that this isn't just happening to his village. Across distant lands, places he will never see, other people are noticing the same thing. Water moving differently, coastlines slowly disappearing, storms growing stronger, entire regions becoming unstable, and no one understands why. But here's where it becomes difficult to explain. These changes weren't just local. They were happening across multiple regions, almost at the same time. So what could cause something like that? As generations pass, knowledge spreads through observation, not science. People begin to adapt. They build higher. They store food. They create early warning systems based on patterns in nature. But nature doesn't always repeat itself. One season, everything changes. The rain doesn't stop. Rivers overflow beyond anything previously recorded. Water begins to erase boundaries. Fields, homes, roads, all gone. For Enkidu, there is no time to understand, only time to react. Families gather what they can. Some move to higher ground. Others don't make it. And what's important here isn't just the flood itself. It's the scale of disruption. Because events like this don't just destroy structures. They erase knowledge, farming methods, trade routes, cultural memory, entire ways of life. Today, we know that around this period, the Earth was still adjusting after the last ice age. Sea levels were rising, glaciers were melting, and coastlines were shifting in ways that would have felt sudden to the people living there. What we call gradual climate change would have felt like disaster in real time. Far away from Enkidu's land, another group faces a different version of the same crisis. Coastal settlements begin to disappear, not overnight, but steadily. Year after year, the ocean moves closer, until one day it doesn't stop. Villages that existed for generations vanish beneath water, and with them, any record that they were ever there. And this is where everything changes, because after these events, human behavior begins to shift in a noticeable way. Settlements become more structured. Water control becomes a priority. Civilizations begin forming systems, not just for growth, but for survival. This is where early cities begin to rise, not just as places to live, but as defenses against nature itself. And that suggests something important. These people weren't just building forward. They were rebuilding after something. But rebuilding from what? A single disaster? Or multiple events that history later combined into one story? Over time, survivors tell stories, not as data, but as memory. A flood becomes the flood. A survival story becomes a warning. And as these stories spread across cultures, they begin to sound similar. Not because they copied each other, but because they experienced something that felt the same. Loss, reset, beginning again. Modern archaeology has confirmed something critical. Many ancient human settlements are now underwater. Not theoretical, real. Structures, pathways, and signs of habitation have been found beneath oceans in different parts of the world. But here's the limitation. We've explored only a small percentage of these submerged areas, which means most of that history is still physically out of reach. Think about that. Entire communities may have existed, lived full lives, built systems, traditions, knowledge, and today we have no direct access to them. Not because they didn't exist, but because the environment changed faster than history could record. It.so when we talk about life before the flood. We're not talking about a myth. We're talking about a period of human history that we only partially understand. A world shaped by forces that people couldn't control. And a turning point that forced humanity to adapt or disappear. Sometimes history isn't erased by time. It's erased by the earth itself, leaving behind only the question of what used to be there. So maybe the real mystery isn't whether a great flood happened. Maybe it's this: how much of early human history is still hidden beneath the water? Don't miss what you just saw. Watch this video again to catch hidden details. Backend index pointing right, follow for more mysterious content. Television, click here to watch the next video. And don't forget, subscribe to our channel for more secrets revealed.